Hello, I'm Terry Michaels, Senior Producer for Sony Online Entertainment, and we're here to talk about Landmark today.
A landmark in many ways is a landmark in the sense of how you guys are developing this. Can you talk about the open nature of this game?
Oh yeah, at SOE, we've really adopted this idea of bringing our community and our players into the game early and working with them so that we can make sure that the game that we're making is as incredible as it can be, and it's what the players want.
Talk a little about this trend that we're seeing now, not only at SOE, but across the industry in giving creators, giving gamers the power to create in a game.
Well, it's one of those things in MMOs. For a long time, we've always been fighting against the fact that people can consume our game faster than we can create it. And one of the ways to combat that is to give more people an opportunity to create content in games. It's a way to make sure that there's always something new and interesting for players, keeping people engaged. I'm looking forward to the day that we have a game where I never have to do the same thing twice. And that's what we want Landmark to be.
What are the challenges in creating a game that in essence opens up the ability for people to create a game?
Well, it's exciting, right? The difficulties are just in the technology, right? We've pushed the boundaries of what's possible in MMOs with Landmark, because having a fully destructible, constructible world made out of voxels like Landmark is, it just changes what you have to do, the kind of data you have to maintain, and the permissions for what people can do and can't do. There's just a lot of cases that you never had to worry about before, and we're learning about these with our players, and it's been amazing seeing what they've done with it and how we need to react to it to support what they want to do.
How intuitive is the creation tools that you guys are giving to players?
Well, the building tools that we have in there now are very intuitive for everybody to use. There are some complex ones because, building an entire world requires a lot of different things, a lot of different techniques. And so what we try to do is whenever we find a new technique, we're looking at ways that we can expose it to the players easier, more intuitively, something so that you don't have to know a 30-step process to be able to create something. So we're always looking at what players are doing and trying to adapt the tools to be easier to do those kinds of things.
With so much openness in the world, what is the story or what is the basic premise that you guys are creating for people to build off of?
Inside of Landmark? Well, it really is in every world, right? It's anything that you can imagine. Our view of Landmark is that it is a conglomeration of all of these different worlds. A sci-fi world with a fantasy world, a modern world, post-apocalyptic, anything you can imagine. It's all coming together sort of in this nexus of where anything is possible. And that's really what Landmark is.
So what are you guys creating from the perspective of if you're going to jump in and you're not going to play user-created content, what kind of storyline or what kind of experience will people have through what you guys are doing?
So for Landmark, we're not creating a directed storyline like you've seen in other MMOs. It is about exploration and adventuring. So there will be things for you to go out there and collect and find. And whether it's something that you want or somebody else wants, you'll be able to trade with people, go back and forth so that you can kind of play the game you want. Now, EverQuest Next is going to be very different from that. But Landmark really is this giant sandbox world where you can do anything you want to. And we want to keep it that way. Giving a directed storyline isn't really what this game is about.
Talk a little about some of the newer things you guys have added, like oceans and now caves.
Right. So just last week we released Oceans to the players, and what that did is it surrounded all of our islands with an ocean. So it changed the way that people were valuing parts of the world. Before, everybody was excited about things that were near the center of the islands, where you could easily transport yourself around and see other things. Just like in the real world, oceanfront property became valuable as soon as it was in the game. People were rushing to claim different parts of the world. Everything that we're adding right now is opening up different ways of playing the game, really changing the types of things you can do, and drawing different kinds of people to the game. Caves is another example of that. It's going to be coming out into the game before E3, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up that third dimension of exploration. Up until now, people have really been exploring the surface of the world, collecting resources and building amazing things, but caves are going to just let you delve into the earth. You could do that before, but there wasn't anything down there. Now there are caves with resources and things to find, treasure chests. All of this stuff are down in the world so that you need to go down there and explore and experience the entire world if you want to play all the parts of the game.